Josh Green here for Tungsten Tales. Delighted to be joined by Scott Williams. Scott, how you doing, my friend?
I'm absolutely fantastic, Josh, mate. Thank you. You all right?
Yeah, all good, mate. All good.
Beautiful.
Interesting few weeks for yourself. That Euro Tour run in Hungary was great to see you playing some good darts, but I think some would say came a little bit from nowhere. Was it one you expected?
Yeah, a little bit. If you look at how I'm playing leading up to that, I'm actually playing some of the best darts I've played all year. I qualified for Hungary was in Hildesheim. I got food poisoning on the first day, and so played really. I was awful for 2 days, throwing up and it coming out of every end of every orifice that you could find on your body. And if you look back, I actually played on the stream against Steve Lennon the day I had food poisoning, and you can just see how ill I am. Big black circles around my eyes. I tried looking like Luke Humphreys with my sexy chest hair out, and But yeah, Hungary in general, lovely place, great crowd, and I was happy most of the time how I played. Got let off a little bit with Mike Decker, but we were both very inexperienced at that stage of the day, going into the evening session or the afternoon session of the last day, and it was so difficult to try and figure out what to do between the last 16 and quarter final kind of stage. But yeah, I'm happy, and I took it onto the Pro Tour as well a little bit. Could have done a bit better there, but that's darts, isn't it?
That was obviously a new experience for you on the final day of a Euro Tour. They're long old days. You've got to play obviously in the afternoon, the 3 in the evening. What is the preparation like? Because you go backstage, you've got the option of going back to the hotel. How was that to adapt to?
Yeah, it was really difficult. So I've been on the last day 2 or 3 times prior already, but I'd not got through into past the last 16. But the way my preparation goes, I like to be there 4 hours before I play. And as soon as I beat Danny, I had 4 hours before I was playing Mike Decker. So in my head, it was like, I'll just stay here. I'll get a bite to eat, carry on practicing, and that's when some of the other guys, Luke Humphreys and Chizzy, turned up, and having a practice with them whilst you're trying to just not overplay and over practice. That's no. It was really difficult to do, even though you are playing so many games, and it is a long day. And yeah, I'll learn from it, and hopefully I'll do it again next year, and be more prepared for it, definitely.
In terms of the results that day, and then you look at and that weekend, you look at the people you beat, and you look at the performances you put in, beating Dirk, beating Danny Noppy to major finalist, Mike Decker, someone who's in good form as well. You must feel like the game is there at the moment, and there's big opportunities around the corner for you.
Yeah, it was a weird weekend because I'd gone into then, and weeks prior the Players Championships and the Euro qualifiers prior to it, playing some great darts. I qualified for the Euro Tours, averaging 95, 96, 97, 99. Playing the Pro Tours and averaging 97, losing all of them 6-5, 6-5, 6-5, 6-4, 6-5, etc. So it's nice to get that little bit of luck. And yeah, Dirk didn't play the best, and I think something got in his head early on that ruined it. I don't know what it is. Me and Dirk we're not close like that, so I'm not going to go up to him and ask him. I'm not really that bothered. But someone got in his head. Danny wasn't the Danny Noppert I played prior. I played him once before. He averaged 104, I think he was 103, 104. So I know what he can do. Mike Decker, I've done the same against him. He's beat me the same. So it's just so weird to have that little bit of luck that I got last year, because that's what I was doing last year. I was only averaging 92, 93, 94 all the time, but I was winning games 6-2, 6-3 because I was getting a chance at a double and hitting the double. And it's ironic that I've been so good on doubles all weekend and then not missed doubles against Chizzy to potentially get to the final. But that's just a different day, innit? An alternate universe, that one.
Was the World Grand Prix ever in your thinking during that tournament?
Nope.
Because
Nope.
you know that if you won that tournament, you were in, but at the start of the tournament, it was obviously a long way away.
Yeah, no, not. People kept asking, "Oh, so if you win this, if I win that, good, yeah, awesome. If I win that, I'm also in the European Championship. If I win that, I'm also back in the Worlds. The Worlds was the more important one for me. I knew that if I could, there's someone on Twitter that's, I can't remember who it is, very good with stats and numbers and cut-off points and stuff like that. And he said the cut-off point was around 23 grand for the Worlds, and I was sat at 15. So I had a big push, and then that literally the semi-final was where I was aiming at, just to get me secured in the middle for the World Championship. But Grand Prix would have been great. World Championship, the European Championship would have been great. But it's all about getting Ali Pally at the end of the year, because that's where the big money is for, you play a game, you got $7.5 grand. You win your first game against a qualifier. Now, as long as I don't get someone like my buddy Luke Littler, or someone like Barry Vampire who's on form, even Hungarian Muramatsu at the minute's chucking in stupid darts. So as long as you don't get someone like that and you get a good draw, like I didn't last year, there's another $7.5 grand straight into 15 grand, and then that cements me into next year when my ranking money starts coming off. So yeah, no to the Grand Prix. I'm waffled on again, but no to the Grand Prix, because all I'm bothered about is the World Championship this year.
What has the difference in last year and this year been? I think lots of people last year were talking about yourself. You were having long runs in the Players' Championships. People were taking notice of Scott Williams. This year, the results maybe haven't been there quite so much. What, in your mind, is the difference?
It's just the playing, the amount I've played. Now having that tour card, all I can do is the elite stuff. I can only play in Players' Championships and the majors if I qualify, and the Euro tours if I qualify for them. Whereas last year I was playing on the Modus Live Lounge and Super Series. I was playing for England. I was playing the Challenge Tour. I'd go into a Pro Tour, and most months, I don't think I ever had a time of year, last year, where I had more than 2 weeks off. This summer I had 7.5 weeks off darts, and we're meant to be professionals. It's not that there wasn't even a Euro tours or anything like that. It was just 7 weeks off through the summer. Now, for me, that worked out for me and my family. My wife had an operation July, the last Players' Championship of July, and she was written off for 3 or 4 weeks. So it worked out great for me this year. But for a normal player, like, I can't practice properly because I've got no one locally to me that's good. Obviously, good enough to get me practicing to that standard where I need to be winning games on the Pro Tour and consistently, playing well. And the amount of time off between stuff is just outrageous. It has been a crappy year in the fact that it was 6 weeks between losing to Rob at Ali Pally and then playing the first Pro Tour. Now, Rob's the person I'd probably go practice with, but then the World Series come in and the Masters, and he was in all of that. So he had 3 or 4 weeks over January, start of February, where he was in everything and doing everything. So I couldn't see him, and I couldn't, there's no one else really local. Josh Rock, but he's in Northern Ireland. It's just so it was tough. It was tough. It's been real tough this year, just for the main fact that my playing time is probably 10% of what it was last year.
And the PDC calendar has obviously been released for next year, and you've got things like Players' Championships in midweek. You're probably going to have even less chance to play darts at the weekend. Is that a positive for you, or is that something you see as a backwards move?
For me personally, I know Nathan come out and said that he was really happy with it. But I remember reading it or listening to it because it helps him play in the week, and then whatever he's doing at the weekend, Euro tours and stuff like that. Great. For me personally, it's not fantastic because my wife works full time. We've got 2 small children, and I've got to rely on grandparents and everyone else who we can rely on. Luckily, I think she goes to nursery. The youngest goes to nursery in this January, so she'll be there for a few hours each day. But it's still a massive inconvenience. And then by the time you're looking at the top guys, the Premier League, you're playing Players Championships on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then you're travelling on the Thursday to go play in the Premier League, and then you're travelling on the Friday to go play Euro Tour, and then you're coming back. And you probably have a couple of days off and do that, and yeah, I'm not a big fan of it, but that's my own personal opinion. I just think there needs to be more stuff in the players. I think there needs to be more Players Championships and less Euro Tours. In my personal opinion, I think there needs to. Matt Porter and PDC want a professional game. They want this to be a professional game. You've probably only got about 16 or 20 professional players technically in the game that are playing and earning really good money out of it, because the rest of us, if we do have a bad day or a bad weekend, all of a sudden it costs us money. You got all the top guys that are earning money every weekend, and it's just like a vicious cycle. But the elite are just money goes to money, innit? But yeah, again, we're rambling on, but that's my personal opinion on the calendar and how it's run a little bit. I'm sure Matt Edgar will be behind me, and he's got plenty of opinions. But I think they need to relook at it properly and give everyone a chance to earn money and play consistently instead of having all this time off.
I think that's the general opinion, that it favours the elite players, but the guys that have the jobs, the guys that are not going to be in these tournaments haven't got the opportunity.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, going back to the jobs part. Yeah, you're right. I mean, I'm lucky enough to have darts is my full-time job, and I've got sponsors, and I've played well enough over the last year and a half, 2 years to have the income and a wife that has a very good job as well. So, but when you got these guys that are, a close friend of mine, Graham Usher, he works for the NHS. He's got another year on his tour card, and he's going to have to be pulling out holidays and stuff like that, and he's going to have to try and find time to play, and they're the guys that are going to suffer massively, because if you haven't got the sponsorship behind you or the money behind you to start with, it's going to be tough for anyone out of the top 40 or 50 to play a lot, all of them. There's going to be a lot of dropouts a lot of the time.
Can you see people giving up their tour card because of it?
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if maybe not so much give up, but I know Ronnie Hybrids. I remember reading something about Ronnie Hybrids and sort of same Kim with the shop and stuff like that. It's going to be massively tough for them, especially the travelling part over to England, because of 24 or 20 of the events are over in England. It's just going to be really tough, and it'll be a similar situation to Christian Perez and stuff. I know they're probably not here because of visa reasons, but if you're not going to be taking part, why do it? Why have it? Well, why not give the opportunity to someone else that can benefit from this lifestyle? So yeah, it wouldn't surprise me to see half a dozen tour cards being given up at the end of the year, as well as the people that are losing theirs. It's just for the sake of work reasons, and yeah, we'll see, won't we? January, February, March time, when the new season starts and everything goes, and they realise how difficult it's going to be.
Yeah, we will indeed. I want to bring it back to yourself. There's still a few months left of the season. You've outlined that the World Championship is the end goal, the main goal going into these last few months. What in your mind have you got to do to get there in these last few Pro Tours?
I think I'm pretty safe now. I'm ranked 15th or 16th in the rankings, thanks to the run in Hungary, and then I won another couple of grand over in the last Pro Tours as well. So I would say I'm safe, but obviously I'm just going to carry on doing what I'm doing and trying to win games, and I'm playing well in the last Players Championships, but missing the double 10 against Chizzy in Hungary massively got in my head, and I played MVG. I actually, in the first two Pro Tours, I couldn't hit double 10. Genuinely, I must have had nearly 30 darts at double 10, and I could not hit it. And so every time I left 20, I'd go for 4 to leave double 8, just because I know I can hit it. And that's how psychological this game is. When you go through what double 10 is one of my favourite doubles, because I love double 6 as well. And you miss that one double that could, it was only 6-5 and it could have meant 6-6. And Chizzy was having a little bit of a rocky patch and I was getting back into the game, and that then changes it. But you miss that one double and it gets in your head and you don't stop thinking about it. That's how psychological this damn game is. But we'll see. Yeah, we'll just practice. I'm just going to have a lot of practice, or a lot more practice. I've had a week and a half off playing darts at the minute. Just I've had stuff at home to do and family life and etc. But I'm going to get on the practice board and just do what I've been doing the last 3 or 4 months, and trying to play good and win games. Simple as that.
Yeah, simple as that. I mean, for you, have you got to look at this year as a learning year? You talked about adapting to the differences in schedule and the differences in lifestyle, I guess, as well. Next year, do you think you'll be more prepared?
Yeah, I kind of had a bit of experience before last year as well. I had a few pro tours here and there. Yeah. Last year was obviously great because I was playing that often, and Challenge Tour started really early in the morning. You got 2 on that day. Playing for England started early in the morning. You playing all day in the singles pairs and team event. So I'm okay, and I'm used to the day stuff. It's just like I said, I like to be there 4 hours, so I'll get there at 9 o'clock in the morning for Pro Tour day. It's just trying to manage your time properly and making sure that you're okay and you're not overthrowing and practicing too much. But it's yeah, I'll be absolutely fine next year. It's just I put so much pressure on myself this year because of how well I did last year, and I'm thinking in my head, because I've got a free year, I just looked at it as a free year. Yeah. And I probably shouldn't have done. I probably should have been a bit more serious and tried a bit. I'm not saying I didn't try hard, but I went through a few stages really struggling. Averaged 72 against Vincent van der Voort in one of the Euro Tour qualifiers to qualify. I averaged 78 against someone else. I started to really struggle. So hopefully I can find something that helps me out, messing about with my darts, changing things on my darts, points, stems, flights. So just messing about, just trying to find something else. Having a chat with Peter in Hungary, he's given me a couple of tips and saying, why don't you try this? Why don't you try this? Get some new shoes, get some this, that. He's just given me loads of different bits of advice, and I took a little bit on, and I got some new shoes with a solid bottom instead of a rubber one. Just trying different things, just to make Phil Taylor said, you'll never be perfect. You always want to be perfect, but there'll always be something that's not right. Regardless of what it is, no matter how good you are all the time, there's always something that you can improve and make yourself better. And that's what I'm trying to do, ready for next year. Actually, ready for the majors, Players Championships. I want to Players Championships and Ali Pali. That's the big, have a good run in both of them. That's the aim.
Mate, it's always a pleasure chatting. And
thanks, buddy.
I hope to see you at Ali Pali at the end of the year with a round one win under your belt.
Yeah, hopefully so, mate. Thank you.